Alrighty. Let me know if you all can see. Can you all see the screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. So welcome to the Mini Tough Detroit 2024 podcast. We have Mustafa Bhai Karimji, Mustafa Bhai Munaim, Ammar Bhai Zumka, Muhammad Bhai Tambawala, and Hussein Bhai Kanch. And Hussein Bhai Karimi, but I don't know if he's fully here. He might be at work, Pizza Shack or something. Anyways, we'll get the podcast started. We're just gonna, introduce a couple of things, talk about, what we think is gonna happen, predictions and stuff, and then we'll wrap it up with any other comments. So the divisions are kind of broken down here. Division 1 is Mihla Manjar, Huzaifa Bhai Hussain, me, and Abdul Qadir Bhai. And then the other division is Ahmad Bhai, Mustafa Bhai, Karimji, Huzaifa Bhai Karimi, and Mustafa Bhai Munaim. So, what do you guys think about the division so far? The division breakdown. You think it's pretty like even based off like what you guys think the teams are? Or...
I think Division One, like this is my opinion, but I think
Yeah.
Division One looks a little harder. Definitely the tougher division.
Okay,
All teams are pretty heavily stacked in the first two, three players. So
Okay.
that's going to be pretty interesting to see who comes out on top.
Okay. I like that. Anyone else?
Where can I see the teams?
If you go on the app, you can see all the you can click on each like team and see all their players. So I can pull up the app.
I would like to say that the divisions were randomized, so it just came out to be Division One have
Okay.
Okay,
four powerhouses.
I was actually going to ask like how were these picked?
Yeah,
So
they were
interesting.
randomized. Eight. We put everyone's name on a wheel, and then it spun. First four were Division One, last four Division Two.
Hey, Mustafa, just how the picks were randomized or randomized different picks were
No comment.
randomized, but yeah, no comment.
Randomized.
Yeah, we all know. We all know
They all
that.
rigged that
Am I
thing
getting
so
first?
hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've heard so much stuff about Ahmad by rigging like practically everything he runs. Like apparently even the fantasy
The
league as
fantasy,
well.
he got the first pick in
Full
his fantasy
rigged.
draft. Yeah, he apparently randomized it four
Full rigged.
times, and he got the first pick all four times. But
We
I
we have
guess.
to do some type of investigation, all right? It's just too this is happening on every platform. We gotta call this man out. God. All right, so moving on. Predictions. Okay, so and everyone please input. Which team do you guys obviously you have your own team bias, but like leaving that aside, which team do you guys think after the draft happened will win it all? And then which team do you guys think doesn't look too strong and who might be the underdogs in this race here? And then we can kind of go through like rankings like one, two, three, four. You want to as well, but just let's start off with which team do you guys think is looking the scariest? Crickets. I hear crickets. Come on.
I thought you were gonna say people's names. Like I thought there was gonna be like you go first. No,
All right,
should we
Mustafa,
just
go
talk?
first.
Okay, fine. Uh, I think besides my team, obviously, I think the scariest team is Jose Karimi's. I think he's got a lot of like the Chicago guys he has. I think are really good, and since no one's seen him play, like I think Zoe Bai, Mohammad Shah, and Jose Raja, we no one's seen him play. They're really good, and them two on the same team, Jose might not even have to be a thrower, which is scary. And then the team that's the weakest, which I don't think there is a weak team. The thing I think is weak is maybe Eamon Hussain's only because I don't know half the players. So I don't know how good they can be. If they play better than they expect, then they'll be better. But that's my prediction.
Dang, Mustafa, I'm just gonna say Abdiri listening to this and he's freaking out on the side because he's not able
I'm
to
freaking out.
Abdeli is
I'm
literally
completely freaking
so
out.
bad. I don't even know why Eamon might drafted him.
All right, I love that. I
He
love
should have been the
that.
last pick.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Hold
Okay,
on. I
so
need to look at Josefa Karimi's team again. There's no way you
yeah,
put him first.
yeah,
You
Mustafa,
know,
I
He's
don't know
versus
if I
team.
agree with you there, man. I mean, yeah, Hudayfa Kadimi is fast and some of his players are fast, but who's gonna handle for them?
I think Ali Zumka is a good handler, and then Zoibai, who in Chicago is a decent handler. I
Yeah.
think that it comes down to where if Huzefa doesn't have to handle, then his team's gonna get better, be better.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
does
Okay,
Josefa actually handle though? Is he like more of a cutter? I feel
he's
like I
more of a
feel like
cutter.
I feel like their team so I had the opposite uh
Oh,
prediction for this,
really?
right? So I I thought Karimi's team I think they're lacking handlers. Like I think Ali Jungawala is the main handler. They're probably going to push him to be the handler. And then I
Mm,
feel like everyone is either going to be just primarily cutting depending on their speed and hoping that those passes are made. But I feel like that's where their like weakness is. So if there's like a missed wild card here where like some of these guys are actually like good handlers, yeah, I think that will be a surprise.
mhm.
Yep, I agree with Amar bhai. Anyone else, Mr. Kareem ji, Muhammad bhai, anyone else have any comments?
I think apart from my team, obviously, I think Team Frizzly Bears, run by Tamba, your team is looking pretty strong. You and Hussein Rashid, if you guys are planning on being the primary handlers, having Amar as your primary cutter, that's gonna be pretty it's pretty scary having him as a handler. I mean cutter.
Cutter,
I
yeah.
mean, he's good. He's so fast. He can, like catch over pretty much like, like 95% of the players that come to these tournaments. He's just like he's really deadly. And then you and Hussein Rashid probably have that, like that chemistry. Hussein, when he came to Houston, he was playing really well. His throws are pretty good as well. And Brahma, I mean, you play really well. You too, like, I've seen you play really well. For the rest of your team, I don't really know them, but just that like first like that lineup right there, the first top three players on your team, it's definitely pretty scary
Oh, thank you,
on
Mustafa.
paper.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll agree with Mustafa here. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, no, so if you ask for my prediction, besides our team, I think two teams are looking really strong in my eyes. One, Mustafa's team, Karimji's, and then another, Ahmad Hussein. So this is disagreeing with you, Mustafa, a little bit, but I think Ahmad with Muhammad Danish and Hussein Rang and Abdedi, they have a lot of people that can throw on that team. So if they're able to use it properly, I think that's going to be a really scary team. Even though they may not have the receivers, like they don't have like a crazy outstanding outlandish receiver. If they're just able to work it up with just those four guys, they're able to create like a triangle or just cut up the field. I think that'll be pretty deadly.
Actually, yeah, I looked at Imabai's team too, and he actually has a really good team. Hussein Rang is like a really good handler.
Yeah, I guess he's a wild card for the ones because we don't live in Houston. We haven't seen him play, but we've heard that he's gone really good. So like, can you speak on that a
Yeah.
little bit? Like, his
So
handler.
he's pretty good. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be like, just giving everyone like giving everything away, but his flick is really good. He can flick. His backhand is pretty good as well. I'd say obviously his flick is like his primary throw. If he has the flick, he's gonna do it, and he can throw it pretty far. It's pretty far, pretty accurate. He can get some good height on it as well. So that's gonna be pretty interesting to see, especially with Mohammad. Like, if Mohammad decides to just go out and be a cutter, leaving the handling to Sen Rang, that could be pretty deadly as well. I know Mohammad can catch. Ahmed Bai, he's also a great cutter. I'm not really familiar with Abdeli Tambawala. I'm not really sure how he plays, but
He's
I'm
pretty
sure
he's
he's
pretty
good
good.
if he was yeah, I'm sure he's good if he's the second round pick. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Let's hear from Muhammad.
I think there's a
What do you think?
question. Poor guy's getting ignored.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
From an unbiased standpoint, I've been looking at the teams. Um, I think unbiased, I think
Unbiased, yeah. Please.
yeah, I think Ahmad Hussein, was his name? Ahmad Hussein, and Icebreakers. I think they have, I think, the best team. Muhammad Danish, Hussein Rangwala, it says tentative drop. I don't know what that means. Um, Kusei Tambawala. I think he's a you need characters on your team, okay?
Do you
And
even
if I've
know
ever
what
met
to
a
say?
character in my life, it's Kusei Tambawala.
All right,
Frizzly Bears is
thanks, Khan, for your unbiased opinion. Um, we're gonna move
Right.
on from. All right, Ammar Bhai, if you want to give your top team, and then Mohammed will come to you.
So I think just talking about Ahmed's team, right? I think Mohammad Danish is probably the most like overall all-rounder player. So like having that versatility, being able to do like receiving, catching, and handling and everything, I think they'll have that as their strength. And like Muhammad like loves to strategize. He's probably gonna do a lot of like his collegiate strategies, right? So I mean, I think a lot of us, right? I mean, there's now like there's new talent that's doing a lot of collegiate stuff, right? So I'm sure if you're utilizing those strategies, you're gonna have the upper hand. Because a lot of like I think like the go-to strategies are right like man to man or like some sort of zoning, right? And then that gets a bit like redundant. So I feel like if you do some new things and you're able to coordinate that well with your team, you're gonna do well. And Ahmad and Mohammad already have that chemistry from that first tournament, right? So I think that's probably one of the top teams. But I think I was the I'm surprised no one has mentioned Poonawalla and Atharwala and Josefa Hossain's team. Those guys, their combo is deadly. I mean, like these guys, their chemistry just going back and forth, like they can literally forget about their entire team and they can just go between them back and forth and handle, and just cuts all throughout. So that's definitely deadly. Um, but I think number one pick, if I had to pick, I think Brahadin, I think it's your team. Your top four people. So Karimji mentioned, the chemistry that you have with Hussein Rashid, right? But if I'm not mistaken, I think Murtaza Boxwala was he the orange beanie person from last year's tournament?
Yes, yeah, you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys ran that triangle, right? And that was deadly itself. Just the short passes and back and forth, and all three of you are very comfortable doing backhands and forehands, right? So it's a bit then it becomes more challenging. And then on top, you have now Mar Danish, who can probably just like stay far and just wait for a good opening. So I
Yeah,
feel like I feel like you have probably the best top four picks, including yourself, right? So I think I'd probably put you on like number one.
well, thank you guys. I really appreciate the man. I really like this podcast, the way this is going.
Hopefully कहीं नजर ना लगे भाई.
नजर ना लगे हमारे
Everyone's
को.
pointing out to you.
No, but no, but actually, you brought up a really good point of Attar and Pune because I don't know, I completely forgot about them. But you're right, their combo. I remember playing them first tough. They themselves would take it up the entire field. No, literally, like you said, no one else on the team would even touch it. They would just go back, and they're so fast, and they just don't get tired. Them two
Yeah.
are just they have a really good chemistry. So yeah, they're definitely a team to watch out for. Plus Huzaif and Murtaza both are really fast players. So their team has their first four players are also really, really good. And Murtaza and Huzaif because they're brothers, they also have a chemistry.
Hmm.
So like you have a lot of chemistry on that team and a lot of speed. So I think that team might also, show to be a really strong team
Yeah.
for sure.
I think
Mohammed,
sorry. I,
no,
I
no,
was gonna
please.
s- I was
Yeah,
gonna say I think the people that we haven't mentioned, like Mela Manjarwala's team, I think that is definitely I mean I don't know a lot of the people in his team, but like the two top picks, right? Like so Melam and Saifuddin, these guys are probably the fastest players in the tournament. So and then Saifuddin is probably the tallest, if not, right? Like so like I'm curious to see how that teamwork is gonna work out.
yeah.
Um, so that I don't know how well they're gonna do their chemistry, but yeah, we'll see.
That's a good point. Mohammed, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. So I hate to boost Brahma your ego, but if I had to pick the strongest team, it's probably just because like this is definitely biased since I've noticed like everyone wherever they're from, they've like called out all the good players on like in from their city. Like Mustafa called out, Josefa Karimi and like some of the Chicago players. But like I've played with most your team and someone we haven't even mentioned, like Amarbai mentioned your first four players, but even after that, Hossein Bailey, like he was on our team last year, and the amount of blocks he had was probably like one of the most inside the tournament. So like throughout your whole team, it's pretty like strong, reliable players. But then I think Mustafa Karimji, like his team also looks very strong in terms of athletes. But my prediction is the first day they might go like undefeated or they might like lose one game, but then the second day when we have to play in the cold, the team's done. We're gonna be
Whoa, 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 whoa,
That's a good
whoa. We
point.
know how to
That's a
play in the
good
cold.
point because they know how to play. They can play with good weather, but do they know how to play in the cold?
Bro, we woke up this morning, 7 a.m., played in 20-degree weather.
Have you
Yeah.
played in snow?
Snow is it's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's just
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
it's
The
just an
cold did
obstacle in my
not bother
mind.
me whatsoever. I still played like I'm pretty sure we all played properly. There was maybe
Brahma,
like
you're
a
first on my
couple
list to snag.
couple players that had some trouble with some freezing hands, but I think apart from them, everyone else is doing good.
Interesting.
So
Yeah, I mean the one
don't
thing
be
about
saying
it,
like, oh, we can't handle the cold and shit. Okay, we might be living in Texas, but we're good. We're built different.
Tamba, you're second on my list to snag over. Brahma, you're first. Let me just tell you guys right now.
thank you for letting me know. I'll make sure to write it down. Okay, so
I
now
think Brahamba is
Everyone
also
should be
first for
prepared.
me.
You have to have a
Mohammad,
chance. You need to be
I
prepared.
already snagged over him in tough, so
dang,
he's
Mohammad, he
okay. I
remembers that.
crossed him out.
He's gonna keep that picture forever.
yeah, that was not the best picture. Karimji clearly had like a foot on me, but back we'll see this tournament. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, one thing about Karimji's team for sure is they also have a lot of chemistry. There are a lot of Houston guys. They know how each other play. So they'll be able to run that back and forth and whatever they do really well. Um, so another question I had was, okay, a lot of people mention like these top like people like Amar Dani, Sefina Abbas, like these standout players. But I think one thing we know, especially in these big tournaments, that like because every team has a player like that, they sometimes get like canceled out, right? Like if Karimji's playing safety, Amar Danish goes deep, it's really a toss. Like it's not really like it's not guaranteed that Amar Danish can come down with that. It's actually it's like a 50-50 or maybe even less. So it comes down to players, the middle players, like the middle round players that actually end up making that big difference because the first round players are usually locked down by other first round players, and it usually kind of cancels out. So I think one thing to keep in mind is like which team has a good all around team that they'll be able to kind of get all their players involved. That way, like it's not just relying on that top guy to be doing all that work, right? So like in Mela Manjar's team, you talked about Sefina Abbas, Mela Manjar. So those two players are really good, but how good is his? I'm not sure of a lot of the players on his team, but the question becomes how good is the rest of his team to be able to carry it forward. Okay. Okay. So we talked about rankings a little bit. What teams look good, what teams don't. What about MVP, DMVP predictions besides obviously yourselves?
I
I was
like
about
to
to
vote
vote for
for
myself.
Burhan Tambawala. Oh,
Okay, Kanch, I already know that.
I was about to vote for myself for MVP and DMVP actually.
All right, I'll just
I'm
skip
voting
that.
for Ganch as
Yeah, this is
MVP, and then Jamali might get
then
DMVP.
who invited him? Jamali won the MVP last time, so I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's a beast for sure.
I like
I
to
think
vote
Ganch is gonna
for
get MVP.
Burhan Tambawala for all the awards.
It
And
was
many awards we have. We'll make up new ones.
I
so
have
much
Brahma
for
for best bench player.
God, number one
yeah,
Blazer
that one
over
I'll
here, I
take. That one I'll
swear.
take. Okay, next question. Okay, players to watch out for, like sleeper players that maybe the people in that GAM know how well they play, but other people may not know. So anyone want to kind of talk about that? And please, if they're not on your team, put them on blast so we know who to watch out for. I don't care if you're ruining other team secrets. This is the whole point of this. Let's hear it.
I'm letting you guys know right now. Muhammad Jamali, this guy's next level. I don't know what happened to him in this last year, but I'll be honest. Like during New Jersey TUFT, his defense was very like a very standout thing. Offense was kind of lacking. I'll be very honest. But I don't know what happened. This guy is like he's mossing people left and right. He mossed Khan today. He mossed
He's actually
Ibrahim
better than me
Raja.
now.
Yeah, honestly think he was better than Ganj now. He's
Oh,
mossed Ganj. He mossed
he's better
Ibrahim
than
Raja.
best
He
player I know.
mossed. I think he probably mossed me too. He mossed all of us on one day. Like I cannot explain to you how good this guy is. Like I don't know what happened to him in this last year, and it was 20 degrees, so I don't know how he was catching it that well.
I feel like all you
Okay.
guys
So
do is talk about Houston people. It's like
I don't know any of
it's
these other
getting a little
people.
boring.
I
Getting a
don't
little
know anyone
boring.
else
I don't
realistically.
know
So
anybody.
You see the same person play good every day, you probably think he's amazing. I mean, what are you gonna do?
I
It's
tell you,
small sample size. You know what I mean?
Moment Jamai, he's up here now. He's here.
yeah, Jamai up here
We're
definitely.
here. We're here. You can't even see. We're here.
Bhagat's like right here, right here. Jamai right here. Right here.
Now you know
Actually,
the difference.
maybe Jamai's up.
Now
Maybe
now you
Jamai's up
pushed it
here.
too far. You pushed it too far.
Maybe Jamai's up
Oh,
here.
I'm so
Maybe.
serious.
No. Can
He's
Jamali
number
throw at
one
all?
player
Or
on Houston Skyline too.
he's just a cutter.
Number one player. Just have to put that out there.
All right, Amar bhai, what about any New Jersey guys? Any New Jersey guys that are coming that we may not know of that might be really good?
I feel like you guys probably know everyone. I mean, there's like younger talent, I think. Um, I mean, I've Ibrahim Basrai is probably like underrated player. He's in my brother's team, Abdul Qadir Bhai Jumkawalas, right? I
Okay,
mean, he's a good cherry picker, so you definitely want to watch out for him.
okay, that's good.
Um, but I feel like you guys probably know a lot of. I mean, there's
Yeah,
a
I think for New Jersey, yeah, we do actually know a lot because they
yeah.
all end up playing in tough.
How's your younger brother? The youngest, not Levi, not Lee.
So Ali is actually the youngest, so Mufaddal is the third one down.
Really?
Yeah, so he's a good thrower, right? He hasn't been playing because he got a knee injury like last year, so he's been out
Oh,
since then. So this is gonna be like his sort of entry to this
like
tournament.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean he was in the first tournament in my team. But then he hasn't played like pretty much anything afterwards. So I mean if he runs and he's able to maintain like his defense is solid. Like I mean like one of the things that we do with our siblings like sort of like practices is like our defense. Right?
Mm,
So like his defense you got to look out for, and then I think just throwing wise. Speed, I think I don't think he's gonna have speed, but yeah, that's probably something lacking right now.
okay. Okay. They should do a
Interesting.
Tamwala versus Zoomkoala like thing, 4-on-4. It'd be fun.
Now we could do that as like a last like in the break or something. All right, Emma, you weren't here for this part, but we were kind of going around asking everyone who they thought their top team was besides their own team, and then probably like the weakest looking team. So what are your comments on that?
I actually look at this every day because I'm obsessed, but I was looking, I think Munaim's team might be the best. I think he has the best overall. I thought he got really good picks almost every round. Like his overview, I don't see anybody on his team that like I think, oh, okay, this guy is like someone we can exploit, someone who's not gonna catch the frisbee, someone who's like, useless in the field. I think there's very few teams that are that well rounded. So I
Who specifically on Monet's team are you referring to when you say that? Like when he
I mean just go down the list. I mean, like it's his top seven are all like seasoned tough players. Like
let me pull
that's
it up.
wild. I don't think anybody has like referred their starting lineup that every single player has played in like multiple tournaments. Like that's pretty impressive. So and then his last four guys, like I don't know, I don't think I know them personally, but they didn't. I mean, unless they all suck, it's possible. But from what I've heard, I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're that bad. They're not just like random people walking around the field, which sometimes I think my biggest pet peeve with people like with frisbee and stuff has been like you're not like putting effort on defense. It's not you don't have to be amazing, but just keep running.
Yeah,
That show that you like you're working for it and like you're trying to do your best and stuff. You know,
true.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
even like my last I think last 4 or 5 picks, like all I was looking for was just hustlers. Like I didn't
yeah,
even care if you like, aren't good at the game or whatever. I just want people to hustle. Like I hate seeing people that just stand around while
like
everyone
me.
else is trying their best to
Yeah,
like,
you're like,
play
I'm
their
open, I'm
defense and
open. Yeah,
stuff.
like if you're standing there. Obviously, if you're standing
Yeah,
yourself, you're gonna be open the whole
yeah.
game, but like, that's not the point.
Like
Yeah,
realistically, if you're just gonna stand there and stuff, like there's a good chance that I'm probably not just gonna throw it to you. Because if you're not gonna try to get involved in the game, I'm not gonna get you involved. Like, you got to put some effort into it.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's definitely something I also agree on.
I don't think there are any bad teams though, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think any individual team stands out as worse than the others. I think it's gonna be exciting. I think even like tough last year, I think almost all the teams were relatively balanced. I don't think they were like I mean even Bucket's team was good, but it more him, not the whole team. I think it's yeah. I don't want to put my on blast because I'm looking trying to figure out matchups and stuff, and it just doesn't matter. I think it's gonna be once you start playing, you'll kind of understand how it all goes because it's
Yeah.
too many variables. It's yeah, yeah. My team kind of sucks. I don't know how much has Mo been playing that much. I haven't talked to him in a while. Has he been playing any frisbee?
But you low key kind of a snake, bro.
Why?
Send rung from us.
Such a
You
snake, I
wanted
swear.
two second round players in the second round? That doesn't make sense. Okay,
If
Oh,
if
send
he
rung
was a second
sucks.
round, then why'd you rank him like so low?
okay, the rankings
You
again,
rigged
man.
everything, dude. You
Oh,
get the
okay.
first pick.
No
Yeah,
blame.
You get
actually,
No
Emma,
first
blame.
pick,
Emma, the
okay?
rankings are kind of like
50% of the blame's on me. You can 50%. The other 50% gotta be the Mustafa. Okay, don't give me
Hey, look,
all.
look, look.
How did you do
I
the
ranked the
ranking?
players I knew. I didn't rank the people I didn't know. All
Yeah,
right, so I did what I knew,
exactly.
which is only Chicago
Exactly.
guys.
Like Jamali literally won DMVP last year, and he was ranked lower than some guys that I've literally never ever seen play frisbee. There, like that did not make sense. Jamali was ranked so
All right,
low.
fine.
Hussein Rung was ranked so low.
That's
there was
fine. No,
definitely
Like
some tomfoolery
don't
going
put
on
on
with the
me.
rankings.
it
No,
was
no, yeah,
all part of Imabai's plan. It was all part of his
yes,
plan.
everything.
He wanted him from the
First
start.
He
round
just wanted to
pick, and
screw
he's
us over. He literally
slow,
wanted to screw us over.
100%,
that's
100%.
smart. Yes, of course.
Uh-huh.
One thing I realized in these tournaments is you cannot just go off by rankings. Rankings is like a supplement, but if you like base your team off rankings, it's not going to go off. You should do
Yeah,
your
it's
own
not
research.
fantasy football.
Yeah, like
I think
everyone
it's
has their own
impossible.
opinion.
Like, yeah, there's too many new players all the time. It's impossible.
Yeah,
It's fun,
yeah,
but
Honestly, this tournament's like the way I see it is every team's like top three players are pretty solid. Top three, four players, they're pretty solid. It really just comes down to those picks after the third and fourth round. Like it really just depends on who was better at picking like, those fifth, sixth, seventh, going on like all of those picks. I think it comes down to who was better at picking up their players in those rounds. Because every team has like a good top three lineup, right? And yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, like yeah, it's good having like, really two or three really good people, but sometimes you just don't have the option to throw it to them. So it
yeah.
just comes down to like, can I depend on like, my other players that I picked up? That's really it. And honestly, sometimes there's those sleepers out there too that you just have no idea, like, who they are. They were like really late pick, somehow stole like, they were like steals. It just like, sometimes that happens and like for example, like Mustafa Soda last year in New Jersey TUFT. Like he was late. He was picked so late, but on Ganch's team, he was like technically their primary handler, right?
I think a third
And he
round, but yeah.
played really well. Yeah,
So,
oh, even then, third round, he played really well for a third rounder.
yeah.
So I think
Some
it really just comes down to those kind of picks.
I like
yeah.
these small tournaments too, just because I feel like sometimes the concentrated player pool makes it even more competitive. Because like 12 teams, you have to almost spread it out a little too much. So I think looking at the teams, I feel like they're better teams than Tuft, even though we have more players in New Jersey. If that makes sense. Obviously, having more Houston guys would be more fun, but I think it's gonna be fun. I even think your guys' tournament's gonna be really good too. Over in Houston, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Did you see Kareem's team in Houston? He
Yeah,
has Haji and Musai Doc, and who else do you have? He's a stupid team. It's so I don't know
It's
what
chalk.
the hell.
It's actually doo doo.
Haji, Mohammad Dabba, Doc,
Haji has his
um,
games. Depending on the game
team,
for Haji. He's
my
a
team is better.
monster, but he has his good and bad games, I'd say. He's still amazing though. I can't.
yeah, it all just comes down to if he wants to like actually try or not. Like if he
Yeah.
actually tries, realistically, I could throw it up to him
I,
every single time and I'll score.
so many flashbacks. I'm just like, bro, like you're just so good. Just jump and try after. He's like, yeah, I know, man. I'm sorry. I was like,
Yeah.
uh, anyways,
All right. Any
Oh
other
man, yeah, I'm
comments?
like looking at my team. It's actually pretty
We'll like
good.
wrap this up in the next 5 minutes here. So if you guys have any other comments, anything else you want to talk about, bring up, anyone can talk.
Bites super bad. He should quit
I
frisbee.
wanted to actually know who from Chicago is actually good besides like I know like Malem's good. No, I'm being serious.
Josh is so savage, bro.
Well, these guys didn't
Josh is
play in
so
New Jersey, so
savage.
y'all don't know. I think they're all
That's
pretty
what I'm
good.
asking. Like I'm genuinely
Anybody's
asking. The
bad.
only person I know that's good from Chicago, like I've seen, is Malem. Like I haven't like
I heard Mustansar Hassan Ali was like he's a very standout player in
I
Chicago.
heard if he tries, he's crazy, but he's
Mustafa
lazy.
Yeah,
Hassani is like how you're saying Haji. If he puts in effort, he will be one of the best players in the field. If he stops caring, he's gonna be like bottom five. The thing is with him is that he's a really good thrower, but he doesn't like being a thrower because he's really tall. He likes to snagging over people. So here in Chicago, sometimes he like has to be a thrower, so he gets annoyed. But uh, hopefully he doesn't have to throw as much with Malem on his team, so he can just go and catch more people. I think he's underrated. I think Malem's team also has Yusuf Surat. He's a young kid.
He's
He's a
good.
young kid, but he's got hops. He plays volleyball, so he has decent hops. But I don't know how well he's gonna play like in frisbee. Like he plays well, but if he doesn't get in his own head, he'll be really good. And then talking about my team, I think Jose Otaola is gonna be the most underrated player. I know he was a second round pick,
Again,
so again. I think he's really good. He's one of the better cutters. But I think I got a solid team.
Yeah, speaking from experience, Josefa Tawawala is insane. That dude has like gas, nonstop gas, and he's so fast. I remember when we were playing together. I mean, he was always just there. Like I could always rely, and he was playing safety and he would run back to be a handler too. Like that is always so hard to do. Like going up and down the field like that many times, it's insane. So, what about Zoe Muhammad Shah? I haven't really heard of him before, but
So Zoibai, he's a veteran. Like he's been playing for like 5-6 years, I think overall. He's a really good player. He's a handler. He just can't it from experience playing him. He can't throw deep that well, but he's a really good handler. So and he's very athletic. So that's why I think Karimi's team is one of the better ones. I think he's got athletes all around. And if Karimi doesn't have to handle and Zoibai and Ali Zumka can handle for him, they'll be deadly.
What about Gulam? How's Gulam been playing?
Oh my God, Gulam. Oh yeah, Gulam, Houston guy, moved to Chicago. Probably faster. Brian, to your point, he's probably faster than Bones. Jose Otawala. But he can't throw for his life. Cannot throw for his life. Like if it's 5 yards, that is going 10 yards behind him. There's no way he's throwing. He cannot throw it. He wears two football gloves to catch a frisbee, but then he will not throw it because it sticks to his hand. I've told him so many times to play with one glove, but I mean he's fast and to give it reality, he gives me tough time to throw. He's a very good on frisbee defender, in my opinion.
interesting.
Yeah, he sent me a couple clips of y'all playing in Chicago, and it was some crazy catches. Like he was like sliding while catching it in the snow. Like
Well, I
if you
mean, you
throw
gotta
it, like
slide in the
he's
snow.
wild,
You
crazy.
got
man.
a
You guys
choice.
never experienced snow frisbee, you Houston guys,
Yeah, I
man.
know.
I've never seen
Crazy.
snow in my life. I don't even know what snow is.
Bruh.
Yeah. Like just like when you have to slide and like it's all wet and you stand up and you're like your pants are wet. It's freaking crazy. It's crazy.
But it's so much fun. It's so much fun in the snow.
Random question. Is everyone planning on playing zone, or do some people plan on playing
Now he wants to know the actual strategies, bro.
Too
like
much of really schema here, huh? He's trying to figure out.
Abdul Kader sent him as like what's it called? Undercover. Ask him individual questions.
Muhammad, when we play you, it's 7v1. We're just gonna put all 7 guys on you, just like surround you in a circle.
like a terrible strategy.
We're actually
That
doing the
is,
opposite. We're leaving him open.
Oh really?
I'm not putting
Is
anyone
that
on
bad?
you. We're actually just leaving you open. Same with Burhan Bhai, just complete open.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna leave all the captains like open. We're not gonna worry
All right.
about them.
Oh wait, I'm captain. Shit. The first time Mo was
It's a
captain
little
of my
pressure
team,
on
I was
you,
like,
no?
wait, I drafted Mo, not the other way around. Never mind.
It's a little pressure on you if you're wide open.
Yeah, be all right. Be all right.
All right, guys. thank you. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate everyone coming, giving their comments. I'm gonna end the recording here, and yeah.